Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Sports in the Mix. I tell you what, because of Kevin Simon says we got to talk more NBA basketball, I took him up on that. And for folks that are checking us out, I want you to see right now what it's all about. Kevin Simon and Dre Russell, can you? Dre with me? Come on, Dre, tell him, man.
Well, I've been a Raider fan for a long time, but they've fallen down to second on my list now. They've been making some bonehead moves. My favorite team is the Steelers, but I got a lot of respect and love for the Raiders.
Okay, good. That's why I like him, because he's still good. Dre is just a fan of the game, okay?
Yeah, I am. I love sport. Today, I'm representing my Atlanta Braves. You see,
I know
Atlanta Braves today, baby. The Braves. There we go.
Speaking of Atlanta, what is going on with Julio Jones? He just made a statement, fellas. What's up?
Julio wants out of Atlanta, man. Hey, all these football players want to. I've never seen so many guys demanding trades, huh? Julio said he's out of there, man. I think he requested a trade 2 or 3 months ago, but it just kind of got out recently. But we were talking about it off the air. He wants to go play with Cam Newton, he said, in New England, or possibly, where'd you say, Cedric, the Tennessee Titans?
Tennessee Titans, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I don't think that, well, I guess the Titans could use him. They already got some really nice receivers there. I could see him ending up in New England. I really could.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, as Dre mentioned, he said he wasn't going back to Atlanta. So that's a done deal.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. First of all, let's talk about the game between the Knicks and, of course, their opponent, the Atlanta Hawks. And that series is now tied at 1 game apiece. Yep. Dre, you're up first. Let's get the excitement. You know, I'm just gonna say this. They must have a camera always on Spike Lee all the time. Just one. They do. They designated camera. You know what I mean?
Man, let me tell you something. I told y'all last week, I hate to say I told you so, but I said that was going to be the best series of the opening round. And it's a shame that either one of these teams is going to be done after the first round. But, man, those young Atlanta Hawks with all those shooters, man, Herter, Bogdanovich, Gallinari, and the main guy, young Trae Young, 22 years old, man, this guy's another Steph Curry. And I remember when he came out of Oklahoma, you know, people speculated, but I didn't know if he was going to be strong enough to be another Steph, but he's right there. He's a step behind Steph Curry, but that young brother is bad. He's got the whole city of New York riled up, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, man. And while he was in Oklahoma, he played for Kruger. And Kruger just retired from Oklahoma. And remember, they had Buddy Hield before they had Trae Young, you know.
Yep.
But Trae done made you forget about Buddy.
Oh, man, Trae Young that young brother is dangerous, man. And the whole Atlanta Hawks team, like I said, they loaded with shooters. And they beat the Knicks in the opening game, of course. And the New York fans was trying to rattle Trae. But that young brother got confidence, man, in the game that now the series tied at 1 apiece. But in the most recent game, which just ended, Trae Young, the New York fans were saying Trae Young's balding, trying to make fun of his hair. But Trae doesn't get rattled by stuff like that, man. He's like, bring it on. So now the series moves to Atlanta for 2 games, man. I'm telling you, that series, I see that as a 7-game series, absolutely. Both teams are really good. The Hawks got more scoring, but the Knicks are tough and they got better defense, and both teams are well coached. So I think definitely that's, even though it's some really good opening round series, I think that's the best one.
Why was Tom Thibodeau successful there in New York, where he started off hot in Chicago, but then he went to Minnesota and he just couldn't get it there? But what makes, of course, New York work for him? Because I think they just got the most improved player on their team, and that's Randall, who used to be a Laker but was traded because of LeBron James. Your comments, Dre, and then we'll hear from you, Kevin.
Okay, well, for Thibodeau, I think for Tibbs, absolutely, it's personnel. He didn't have the talent in Minnesota, or Chicago was kind of a messed up situation. If you remember during his run there, their front office was in disarray, man. They had some crazy stuff going on. So he didn't have the players. Now, even though he doesn't have a lot of super duper stars, but having Derrick Rose, former MVP who played for him in Chicago, and having Julius Randle, who just developed and blossomed into the most improved player and might be first team All-Pro this year. He's got some guys that buy into his system, and Tibbs is a great defensive coach, and he preaches defense and intensity. Because remember, he was Doc Rivers' defensive coordinator at Boston when Doc won the championship with Kevin Garnett and Pierce, Ray Allen and Rondo and those guys. So Tibbs is a heck of a coach. And I think his talent, man, he's got the right mixture there. and they have cap room and draft picks. So look for the Knicks to be a championship contender next year. Even though they're in the playoffs now, they're going to get a big fish to add to what they got, and they're going to be probably a even better team next year. I look for the Knicks to be a 2 or 3 seed next year in the East. I think they're going to improve.
What do you think, Kevin?
Well, I think Thibodeau started with defense, and so they are the number 1 scoring defense in the league, and he's got them playing some pretty good defense. They play good defense, better defense tonight than they did at game 1, and that's a part of it. Now, Randall had a bad game in game 1. He was 6 of 23. He got off to a really slow start tonight, just 1 of 8 to start, but got going there late in the game. But, if anytime you can play defense, regardless of what sport it is, if you can play defense, you give yourselves a chance to win. So that's where New York is. They don't score a whole lot of points, and they were slow tonight getting going offensively. But what they hang their hats on right now is defense, and that's what they've been doing.
Wow, that's pretty good. So now the series shifts. It goes down to Atlanta. Do you think that the Hawks will be able to win both of those games? Because I think they're going to split. I think they're going to win one. They're going to lose one. What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, I think it's going to be set. We talked about this. I think, as Dre mentioned, probably the best series here in the first round. And so I expect it to go 7 games. I don't expect the Hawks. Now, New York didn't look good through 3 quarters. They were down by 12 points, and I thought they were in trouble tonight. But they came on strong at the end, got a lot of help from their fans, and found a way to win that game. So maybe they will turn out to be what I expected to be a 7-game series that goes back and forth. So I expect a split as well in Atlanta.
Wow.
Yep.
What do you think, Trey?
I absolutely agree with Kevin. I think you look for a split, look for it to go 7. The Hawks have a young team, so they probably won't know how to put the Knicks away per se and win 2 games. They'll probably win the next game and then maybe lose game 4 after they go up, say, 2-1. That's my prediction. But yeah, I think this one is destined for 7, man. This is a heck of a series. 2 teams with a lot of good young players and bright futures. These 2 teams will probably be top teams in the East for the next 4 or 5 years.
And you know what? I'm glad to see the Knicks are back on here because it's been a while. You remember when they were, Pat Ewing could never get to the championship game. He had Starks on his team, Roe Blackman. I remember when they played against Chicago and Jordan was there. And Starks came in there and dunked the ball left-handed on him. I'm like, dude, and he's from Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's the last time the Knicks were good, when Pat Riley was there coaching during that run. Like you said, with Ewing and Oakley and those guys, they haven't been good since. Mark Jackson, But yeah, I'm glad to see the Knicks doing well. I've liked the Knicks since I was a kid, man, and they had Earl Pearlman, Rowe, and Walt Frazier and those guys, Willis Reed. But they haven't dominated. Matter of fact, the Knicks haven't won a championship since 1973. That's quite a drought. That was a long time. That was a long time, man.
When Jordan left to go play baseball, they was like, man, we got this. But then they had to go up against Houston Rockets. You remember that?
Olajuwon. Absolutely, I remember that.
Glide Drexler,
It was calling them Houston back then. Houston. They got back-to-back over there. Yeah.
What was it? Rudy Tomjanovich, it says the heart of the champion. You know what I mean?
Yep. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They were the Rockets were tough, man. Olajuwon, he's in my top 10 all-time players, man. Usually when people putting teams together, they don't ever include Olajuwon as top 10. To me, he's top 10. Olajuwon is a beast. Could play forward or power forward or center. He played center for a while when they had Big Ralph Sampson, if you remember. But Olajuwon was a dominant player, could do it all, man. One of the most underrated. And when I say underrated, I mean from a standpoint of not being a top 10 player. I got him in my top 10. I'm sorry. He's right behind Chamberlain, Kareem, and those. I even got him over Shaq on my all-time list.
Yeah,
as far as big man.
What he had that move, they called it the dream shake. It was hard to keep up with that. Came to dream. Olajuwon had that dream shake. They couldn't defend it. It was almost like that Kareem skyhook. It was hard to defend.
Yeah, well, they put Houston on the map. You had 5 Slammer Jammer. They were right. What was that coach name? Guy Lewis? Is that what his name down in Houston?
Guy Lewis, yes.
Oh man, they were just like as good as an NBA team during that time period. That's how good that ball club was.
Yep. Drexler and Olajuwon were on that team together too in college. And Michael Young and some of those, Larry Mishaw. Yeah, they had quite a team, man.
Yeah.
Quite a team.
But they never, they did win the championship in the NBA, but they should have won it in college. But North Carolina State, Jimmy V was just running out. He was looking for somebody to hug. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was exciting time to watch basketball, and man, Houston was off the chain, man. So
Mhm.
that's how it was. But glad to see the Knicks are back, man. So I'm scared to say who I think is gonna win that series. So I'm just gonna say it'll
What?
go 7. If it does, I got to put the Knicks on there to do it if they get it. You know.
You
Yeah,
Spike Lee will be glad to hear you say that.
yeah, I picked the Knicks, and so I'm gonna stick with it. We still just 2 games in, so I'm not giving up on it. But I hope it goes 7.
Yeah, same here.
All right, well, let's go ahead and let's talk about the popcorn because I just got a report. What in the y'all know y'all can't mess with Russell Westbrook. No one, he from LA, he from California. He crazy.
Westbrook is crazy, man. The fans dumped some popcorn on him when he was trying to go to the locker room. I believe he sprained his ankle or twisted his ankle or something. And then, and the good thing it was what, about 5 guys with him, right, Kevin Simon?
Yeah,
Otherwise,
they had to keep him from going in the audience. Had to keep him from going up in the stands to try to get involved with this popcorn throwing. I mean, that would upset you. Fans can't do that kind of stuff. But yeah, he was trying to get out. And Russ is crazy. I mean, he is the real danger Russ, not like Russell Wilson. He is the real danger Russ. And so yeah, they had a hard time containing it. But that's the most action. That he didn't play worth a doggone. That's the most active he was all night. He only had 10 points on the court, but he was trying to get into the stand. So I think that part of his frustration was the way he played, but the other part was that popcorn getting dumped on him.
Yep, I think you got 2 sweeps in the opening rounds. One sweep is Philadelphia over them. I believe that'll be a sweep.
Yep.
Philly's definitely going to win the series, even if they blow 1 game. And the other for sure sweep is the Brooklyn Nets over the Boston Celtics. You know that's going to be a sweep.
Brooklyn, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened? Like I said earlier, man, the Wizards are just lucky that they even made the playoffs, man. Bottom line.
Yeah. They got hot down the stretch, and the 2 guards got them into the playoffs. Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook, 2 all-world, all-pro guards, played so good. But now it's just tough for them. Even though they won the play-in games, it's tough, man. They can't handle Philly and Brooklyn, you know.
No, and Bradley Beal's in the first 2 games, he's been a one-man show. He hasn't got much help from anybody, including Westbrook. So, both of those guys have to be at the top of the game just to have a shot, and that's not been the case so far.
Let's talk about Doc Rivers, man. And by the way, I want to commend him again. Doc don't play. Did y'all see the shirt he was wearing, sending the messages to the senators about passing that bill? Doc is a smooth activist, isn't he?
Yep. He's a great dude, man. I've talked to Doc plenty of times one-on-one. I love him as a coach. I love him as a Black man because he does whatever it is, and he's not ashamed to speak up and talk. And he's quick to say, look, my dad was a cop. But, still, he's against this police killing and shooting Black men. So he'll tell you in a minute. And, of course, he's from Chicago and played at Marquette. But I like Doc even as a player, man. When he played with the Hawks with Dominique Wilkins. Later, he played out here in L.A., and I got to know him when he was on the team with the Clippers with Mark Jackson and some of those guys. I always liked Doc even as a player. But, yeah, Doc Rivers is a great guy and a great coach. And it's his fault, by the way, the Clippers are down 0-2. They blaming him still.
Of course. Yeah, I'm ready
it's
to
his fault.
Him, man. Come on now.
Who the Clippers going to blame now? Doc's got his team #1 seed in the East.
Yeah, well, Paul George blamed Doc on that series loss to Denver, and then he blamed the bubble because he got depressed while he was in the bubble. So now they're not in the bubble, and they don't have Doc. What is going to be his excuse now?
I have no idea, Kev. I don't know. Paul George, I lost a lot of respect for him after he came out and tried to throw Doc under the bus. And like you said, now they down 0-2, about to get swept by the Dallas Mavericks. Boy, if they get swept, that's going to be the biggest sports story. Ooh-wee. Man.
Yeah, well, because they haven't won a game. And I'm going to get back to this other game, but I have to say something on that because I watched Tyrone Lue and his comments, and the media was asking him questions, and he wasn't strong, man. He's going to have to step it up.
How can you be strong? Yeah, you can't be when you're down 0-2 at home. You lost the first 2 games at home. And I said before this series started, or even before the playoffs started, I said the Mavericks are not tough-minded enough to go make a deep run, which still might be the case. But what I do know is the Clippers aren't tough-minded enough to make a run in the playoffs.
Nope.
Okay, if you get up 3-1 to Denver last year and you find a way to lose that series, and then you open this series and you go down 0-2 at home, you're not tough-minded enough. You can't put teams away. Come on, man.
Well, man, I'm in the press conference last night listening to Tyronn Lue, and even Paul George, and they're trying to sound all not work, talking about we're not worried. I wanted to say quit lying. I wanted to just jump up and say quit lying. You are worried, like you just said, Kevin. They down 0-2 at home to Dallas, and then they did all that talking before the game, saying, "Oh, we're going to put Kawhi on Luka Doncic. We're going to slow him down." Luka had what, 39 points?
Yeah.
39.
So
well, hold that thought, man. We got to take this break because we got to come back and continue this conversation. It's hot up in here for it, folks, because we're talking sports. Sports in the mix with the crew. I'm Cedric Bailey. He is Dre Russell, and that's Kevin Simon. And we're bringing it to you right here on Sports in the Mix here on the BGC Sports Network. We'll be right back. We back, y'all. We back. Conversations off the air. We was talking about the Packers. Brent, of course, talking about the one and only Aaron Rodgers. And you know what I was going to tell you? I was looking at a report the other day. Aaron Rodgers is upset. Really, it's about the guy they drafted last year. He has this in his mind. Y'all should have ran that by me before y'all even got this kid. What's his name? Jordan Love. What's the guy's name that they picked up?
Jordan Love.
Yeah. Now, Jordan Love is an average quarterback. They just got him, you know. But to me, it's kind of like, did he take that thing personal? Is he? I'm just gonna say, is he that kind of controlling person? What do y'all think?
Yes, he is controlling, but he's also a flaky cat. But yeah, his part of his problem is that they didn't run it by him. But the other part is that he wanted some more weapons on the offensive side of the ball. And instead, they drafted his future replacement, which I guess would rub me the wrong way, too. And so I don't know if I necessarily blame him in that regard, because he's earned the right to kind of be, to run some things by him. When the quarterback has had the kind of career he's had, they maybe should have run it by him and then did what they wanted to do anyway, which is what most teams do. They'll run it by you, but in the end, they're going to do what they want to do anyway. Yeah. And so, but he's a flaky cat, and this whole week he's been denying the fact that he was not upset about Jordan Love and getting drafted. But I think that's part of the issue. The other part of the issue is that they didn't talk to him about what was going on, and he wanted weapons on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, well, I'm just kind of looking at him a little different right now, and I'm just really looking at him, and I keep thinking in my mind he's trying to be like Brady, but Brady, when he left New England, he was a free agent. And let me tell you something, that ownership did not say not one word. They talked to their coach, they talked to their staff, they got all the pieces together and quietly kept winning, except against New Orleans. They beat them when it counted. That's what they did. Mm-hmm. And I mean, one thing about Brady, when you look at him, if your team messes up, he is not afraid to get up in your face.
Oh, he's going to get you grill.
What'd you say, Kevin?
He's going to get up in your grill. And that's what you want from your quarterback. I mean, you got to kind of have that stuff, man, when your receivers are running the wrong routes and that kind of stuff. He'll let you know. Yeah.
Dre, do you think he's like LeBron was doing on Kentavious Caldwell-Pope? Was he getting up in his grill?
Oh, yeah. And, and Kevin can definitely co-sign with me. He was a football player. Quarterbacks have the right. They're like the next coach on the team. They're like the coach on the field. And quarterbacks, they let them have that leeway to get on their teammates and rip them a new one and stuff. And like jumping back for 1 second, Aaron Rodgers is flaky, as Kevin Simon said. Mm-hmm. But sometimes, man, I feel like now the professional athletes have too much leeway and too much power, because even though they've drafted the QB, and I think it's a 2-quarterback league, I think you got to have a good backup, because guys always get hurt and things happen. So defending the Packers here, let me play devil's advocate. Maybe they said, hey, we don't have a good backup, and Rodgers is older, and we want to get this guy ready to play in 2-3 years. And Aaron Rodgers, his feelings would hurt. But I think sometimes these athletes think they have too much control, over these teams, telling them who to draft and who to play, right, and who to trade for and who not to sign and all of that. But Aaron Rodgers, I heard he's a real flake. I heard he's real kind of on the strange side.
Yeah,
but,
he's fit.
Yeah, but they're letting these athletes have all this pull. Now, LeBron James, the reason he basically built this Laker roster, and 6 guys, including himself, are with Clutch Sports, which is the sports agency that LeBron basically owns. And Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is one of his guys, and he's been living off LeBron for the last number of years, making a ton of money, being way overpaid. And the guy is a shooting guard that I said Monday. He's a shooting guard that won't shoot. In the last game, in game 2, in Phoenix, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope had the same number of points you had, Cedric Bailey. Zero.
Zero.
He had zero. And so LeBron ate him up. He got in his face and had a few curse words that we can't repeat here and said, when I give you the ball, shoot the doggone ball. Yeah. So I'm glad to see LeBron get on him, but LeBron's probably a little embarrassed knowing that I'm the reason this guy's playing and on this team and making all this money. And here he is not producing.
Now,
and let me
go ahead.
Let me just one point on the Green Bay Packers before we move on from them. Brett Favre felt the same way that Aaron Rodgers felt when they brought Aaron Rodgers in. Brett Favre felt the same way, that he didn't like the fact that they got another quarterback, his future replacement. So you would think Aaron Rodgers would have a better understanding of Jordan Love coming in, but apparently he's forgotten how he felt and how Brett Favre made him feel. Because in the beginning, they didn't get along on it. Right. And so you would think he would have a better understanding of the whole situation. But again, he's a fickle, flaky guy. And I think part of the reason, looking back on it now, is why he dropped so far in the draft. If y'all remember, Aaron Rodgers spent a whole lot of time waiting to get drafted in that green room. Now I think you would kind of know why, because he could play. He's just a fickle, flaky guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And one thing about Favre, he was like a gunslinger. You know what I mean? He kind of like, what was that other football league they had, the USFL? When they had the New Jersey Generals and all that.
Yeah.
And wasn't that a wild league during that time?
It was.
Yeah. Man, I actually I remember when I first got into broadcasting covering sports, I remember going to a game in Birmingham, Alabama. The quarterback for the New Jersey Generals was Doug Flutie, and one of his running backs was Herschel Walker.
Walker.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember going to those games, man. Yep.
LA had a team, it was called what, the Express?
LA Express. Steve Young was quarterback for a minute.
Yeah.
The team out here. Yep.
Yeah. What did they do? They played on Monday nights, or what night was it? They played on a certain night. That's what they did, didn't they?
Wasn't it Saturdays?
It was.
I don't know when they played. But there
was two different leagues. It was the USFL, and later they had another one called the World
XFL.
League or something. Yeah.
Well, you know who ran the USFL into the ground, right?
I'm not gonna say the name, but I know.
but he's in the news again today. The former guy. Is in the news again. The guy that ran that league into the ground is in the news today, having to do with the Patriots owner and some stuff going on in politics. If you want to discuss that, with Kraft, Trump. I'll just say his name.
Yeah,
tried to pay off a senator that was investigating Spygate, the Patriots Spygate situation, because Kraft and Trump were buddies.
Of course,
Trump tried to pay off one of the senators that was actually leading the investigation in Spygate. He tried to pay him off to make that go away. So that's actually news today. But Trump is the guy that actually ran the USFL to the ground.
Yeah, that clown was the owner of the New Jersey Generals during that time. That football team. That's why to this day you got Herschel
Walker. Yeah, that's how him and Herschel Walker got to be big buddies. Herschel loves him some Trump now.
There you go. That's why Herschel Walker's crazy too. I'm sorry, he's a nut too. Nutty as a fruitcake.
You know what Jimmy Johnson said? Well, I got something. He said, let me call Minnesota right quick and see if I can't make a deal with them. Most biggest trade of all time.
It worked out. It worked out for Jimmy and the Cowboys.
It sure did, man. It was like, man, you did what? Everybody never forget that move. All right, let's go ahead and let's go back. We were talking about some of the other games, and we were we've already talked about the Atlanta series. Let's see, we talked about the Knicks. Oh, yeah, we were talking about Russell Westbrook and that series. Is that a sweep, by the way? Is that
absolutely? I think so. Yeah, Philadelphia should go down and take care of business and finish them off. Yeah, the next two games are in Washington. 76ers up 2 games, and it's not even close. Today's game, I think Philly won by 30 points or something like that. Yeah, it's that series not close. Like I said, that one and the Boston Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets, those two series are blowouts. I think sweeps. I think both of them are sweeps.
How was Doc how was he able to leave, of course, the Clippers and just turn around? And Steve Ballmer, we hadn't even talked about him. What do you think he's saying right now?
I've met Ballmer a couple of times, and he's a straight businessman, nice guy. I think Ballmer, and he's a big fan. You see, he sits right under the basket every game they play at home. I think Ballmer's I bet he's a little frustrated, man. I bet he's a little pissed off. And I bet you if the Clippers don't get it together and they lose this series, whether it's a sweep or whether they lose 4 games to 3.
Period.
I think Ballmer's going to clean that house, man. All those players are going to be gone because he probably think, why am I paying all these guys? I'm over the luxury tax and I'm paying all this money and I got an inferior team pretty much. So
and I think I'm sorry, Dre, but
no,
I
was done.
I think the experiment is probably hadn't worked out with Kawhi and Paul George. It hasn't produced like they thought it would. Again, they're up 3-1 last year, and you got knocked out of the playoffs, and this year it just hadn't worked out. So no, absolutely, Dre. If it doesn't work out one way or another, if they don't get past this round, and maybe even if they get and get knocked in the next round, there probably gonna be some changes.
And I gotta say, man, Tyronn Lue's the media out here in LA is questioning some of Tyronn Lue's moves, man. Now the Clippers have a huge analytical department, so I don't know if those guys are telling him what to do and you got to play this guy. But they picked up Rondo to be a leader in these times. And Rondo in crunch time ain't been in the games. He's got Patrick Beverly out there, who I think is just a waste. So I'm like, why you got Beverly in there? And then they come down to run the same old offense they've been running last year. Paul George and Kawhi go one-on-one, and then they end up getting beat.
But you know what was so crazy about on this Beverly? Beverly, he tries to get in everybody's head,
Right.
And then of course, keep in mind, Rondo played for Dallas, and he let the Maverick fans down. So Carlisle said, "Oh, I've seen this before." I never forget. I was at the playoff game when Dallas played Houston, and Rondo was on the team. You got 8 seconds to get the ball across the line. That knucklehead took his time and walked the ball up the line before he even got to the line. They blew a whistle on 8 seconds. You never know what you're going to get from there. He was a better player when he played for the Lakers. He's not there. It's not working. Doc was able to make those guys work together. And you're looking at this and saying, my God, what's going on? Kawhi Leonard can't do it by himself. And you know why Dallas beat them? And Kevin and I talked about this last night. Number one, they shot over 50-something% from the three-point line. And then and then they were shooting 60%. The only thing they was doing horrible was free throws. And that was at the end. And then their bench scores. And then I'm looking at Jalen Brunson. They got him. That was the guy that won the championship at Villanova when they played North Carolina. His dad played in the league. And that's why Carlisle got him, because he was coachable. Dorian Finney-Smith, who played for Billy Donovan at Florida, he was coachable. Them guys, you look at them, Josh Richardson, they can shoot. And I know one thing, Tim Hardaway Jr., they're going to have to pay that brother.
Oh man.
That's who I was going to say was Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. was 6 of 8 and really put the dagger in that late fourth quarter that pretty much racked up the game. But he was wrapped up the game. But he was 6 of 8 from the 3-point line, 9 of 14 for the game. So he was efficient and effective. But I knew the Clippers were in trouble when Maxi Kleber, who averages 7 points a game, had 12 in the first quarter. I was like, who got Maxi? Who got Maxi? He got 12 in the first quarter. He averages 7 a game. So I knew the Clippers were in trouble then.
Well, here's the deal. Maxi need to stop being down there and getting postered. And Porzingis too. Just play the game, and you just try to play a little defense. But they just run an excellent offense. And like I said, Jalen Brunson, this dude, he takes the ball to the hole. I'm just blown away, And did y'all see Mahomes at the game?
Yeah, man.
Dirk was at the game. Dirk sitting in the back, and Mahomes was on the front row.
Yep. Yep.
How is Mahomes who's from right there in your backyard, Kevin?
Right here. Saw him grow up, played basketball against my son. He was a little younger than my son, but he played basketball.
What's the name of that little town he from down there?
White House.
White House, Texas.
Yeah. Suburb of Tyler. It's just that White House is about 5 minutes from my house. He right down the road. But
he's Mahomes in Tyler, Texas, dude.
He's a big deal now. Yeah, he's on the front row dapping it up with Luka and everybody else. So Luka made a special trip over there to dap him up and hug and take a picture with him and everything. So Mahomes is a big deal. But I mean, as Dre mentioned, the Clippers tried to match up, put anybody on Luka. None of it was working. I mean, they tried Kawhi, they tried everybody. Luka was basically just laughing at him. He told Beverly in the first game, he said, "You're too small." went to the hole on him and said, "You too small." I mean, he just toying with him.
I'm glad, man, because I'm in the locker room, been around Beverly. He talks too much crap to not be able to back up any of it, man. All he does is talk smack all day long, and he don't back up none of it. It's like, dude, be quiet. You're embarrassing yourself.
This gotta be his last year, dude. They gotta go ahead and cut that deal. What was he?
He always just been about noise, made the most noise. You know, some people are like that. They get far in life just by making the most noise, and that's the former guy once again. But that's that's you make the most noise, you get, you kind of move up.
Yeah. Well, they did try to get rid of him. Nobody wanted him because he had another year after this year on his contract, so nobody would take him. They were able to get rid of Lou Williams, but they weren't able to get rid of Beverly because the owner Ballmer didn't want him because he felt like they were knuckleheads and they kept up too much mess on the team, man. So he tried to get rid of them, to be honest with you.
I got you. So we'll see what's going to happen. I have been credentialed to go all the way to the Western Conference Finals, and I will be reaching out to you guys there. We don't get a chance to go in the locker room, but we will be on Zoom.
Yeah.
And I was
locker rooms is probably over, man, forever.
Yeah. Might be. Yeah, might be.
And I know the players are glad because we used to go in there, man. We'd be standing out there, with Mark Cuban, man. That dude, he loves talking, man. What do you think about when you see Cuban out there on the sideline, man?
I've never met him, but he seems like a fun guy. He really does. He's lively.
Yeah, he is. When we would go there, we go there earlier before the game, and we always did our interviews while he's on the treadmill. That's how it was,
Is that right?
Okay. Yeah, that's how it was. And he's a good guy. One thing I can say, his story, how they started because of internet back in the day. He was from Indianapolis. He's a Hoosier fan, and he wanted to be a part of basketball. He got the team from Ross Perot Jr., and he just took it to a whole nother level. He went out there and just started getting players out there. He even got the Rodman to come play for the team. It was so funny. We was at Reunion Arena in downtown. Of course, Kevin, you've been downtown Dallas back in the day, man. It was just a sight to see to be downtown. But Perot bought the team so that he could move it to that area called the West End, almost West End, just north of there. And, man, they have taken the parking lots and build skyscrapers and apartments, and making money on top of money. People are moving in those apartments there, those townhomes, and paying at least six figures or more for
every
those
day.
Places.
It's growing every day. I drive through downtown Dallas 4 nights a week. I'll be driving through there tonight. I pass that arena every night. Dallas, every night you drive through there, it's growing. It's a different look.
Yeah. So it's definitely going to be exciting. And I did talk to him and said they're going to let a lot of fans in the game, but they're not going to let a whole lot of media in there, but they're going to let the fans get in that game and everything. So it's going to be exciting and everything. And I just can't wait. And I'll definitely be letting you guys know about it. And who knows, because Luka Doncic is 22 years old. And this guy, man, it's like the team feeds off him. What do you think, fellas? They feed off him.
Absolutely, man. He reminds you kind of LeBron, as when LeBron's in his latter years, how he's kind of more or less turned into a quasi point guard. And he also reminds you of Magic Johnson, man. Magic was that big point guard, and nobody could handle him. Nobody could stop him. And he's a player, man. I said last year that I think he'll be an MVP soon. I thought he would have made a run this year, even though he had a decent season. He's not an MVP candidate this year, but he's got MVP written all over him. I could see him winning an MVP in the next 2-3 years.
Gotcha. Well, listen, we got to hit this break right now. When we come back, we got to talk about the Lakers because we're going to ask Dre, and Dre going to tell us something. Y'all need to put your seatbelt on. And then we're going to ask about Denver and Portland. So so just put your shoes on, your flip-flops on, your Nikes, your Air Jordans on. Just get ready. Hey, you're listening to Sports in the Mix with the Crew. I'm Cedric Bailey. Dre Russell's in the house, and Kevin Simon will be right back. And we are back. Welcome to Sports in the Mix, segment 3 with the Crew, Cedric Bailey, Kevin Simon, and Dre Russell. And now we're going to talk Los Angeles Lakers basketball. The Lakers. Wait, first of all, Dre, you see Kevin got a big – what did your wife say to you, Kevin?
I had a little picture of Magic, a signed picture of Magic on behind me I used to have here. I call it my basement because it looks like a basement when I watched it on YouTube yesterday. And so she said, man, your picture of Magic is too small. You got to do something else. So I got the jersey. That's my son's jersey. So he got a bunch of jerseys in it. I can use, put one up every day. He got a bunch of jerseys in his closet. So I'm going to represent Magic tonight, though.
So is he a true Laker fan?
Oh yeah, no, he's a Kobe. He loves Kobe Bryant. Yeah. Now I got him into the Lakers and USC because I grew up a Lakers, USC, and Dodgers fan. So he's kind of followed who I like. So he's a huge Kobe fan. He's got a Kobe jersey too, and I don't really care for Kobe. God rest his soul. So you won't see his jersey up on my wall. But yeah.
number 8, and what was his other number? 24.
24. I like the number 8 Kobe. Oh no, I was a fan of the number 8 with the low afro Kobe. I like that dude. I didn't care for the number 24 bald head Kobe though.
All right, wait a minute. Okay. Oh Lord,
what is it?
What you got there? We forgot who he is. That him?
Well, that ain't Dre.
That's
me and Magic Johnson.
Right there.
That's me and Magic.
No, that ain't Dre. Dre don't look like. That's a pretty man next to Kobe. That ain't Dre.
Now look, true story. And if you don't believe me, you can ask him. When we took this picture, we had just played 1-on-1 at the Forum parking lot, and I got witnesses. I beat Magic 1-on-1 on a game to 10.
What?
Yep. We were playing outdoors. That's why he got on his Adidas. He got on his Adidas jogging suit. I think I got on a Nike or whatever. I think I got on Nike. We had just finished playing 1-on-1. Magic used to do this big game every summer. Kevin, I know you're aware of this because you live in LA called Midsummer Night's Magic.
Oh yeah.
And we were promoting
yeah.
that. And I was doing my radio show there, and Magic was on promoting, trying to get people to buy tickets for the game the following night. And he'd have all the big boys playing, Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, everybody. And we made a bet and said everybody that was going for Magic would win tickets if he won, and if one's going for me. I only had a handful of people, so they was on my side, right? But I beat him on the game, beat him 10-9. And to this day, he'll tell you
jumpers, man.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, to this day, he'll tell you, because that's my guy. He'll say, oh, he got lucky. I let him win. He'll say something like that and laugh it off. But yeah, man.
You telling me you beat my man Magic Johnson?
That's what I used to play all the time. I was still playing then. That was
Hey Bailey, between me and you, we're gonna drug test after the show. I know you didn't beat my
Ask Magic Johnson if you say, hey, Aundrae Russell said he beat you. Is it true? He'll say, oh, he got lucky. I let him win. He'll say something like that. Bottom line is I beat him.
Now,
he had the game. He missed the jumper. We had to clear. I got the rebound. I took it out, and I was a cocky player. I said, oh, it's over now, Magic. And I shot it. Bam. Beat him.
What?
Yes, sir. That's the picture right there, Kevin Simon.
All right.
That's after the game right there. That's in the Forum parking lot. That's right outside the Forum.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh man, I'm just blown away. But that's why we got this show going, because we
y'all crazy, man. But that's a true story. I'm not making it up. That's a true story.
All right. So now let's go ahead and talk Laker talk. Why do the Lakers always have to win when their back is up against the wall?
Because of 2 words, Anthony Davis. He don't come to play all the time. You saw what he did in game 1. He sleptwalked whole game, didn't play. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope never comes to play. And then last night, he played great. Now, here's the key. Let's see how he's going to play in game 3 when the series shifts back here to LA on Thursday night. Will he play great again? Will he also play great on Sunday? I predict no, he's going to play one of the games really good, and the other game he's going to sleepwalk. But they just don't have that consistency, man. Davis is not a consistent player. That's just really how I feel about it. I picked Phoenix to win this series. Since Chris Paul is hurt, and I still don't know to what extent. Now I'm saying, maybe Phoenix might not be able to pull it out. But we'll see how hurt Chris Paul is. I still don't think the Lakers are going to run the table or anything like that. I think it no matter who wins, I think it's still going to go 6 or 7 games. If Chris Paul's not injured, if Chris Paul comes back healthy, in other words, I think Phoenix still can win that series.
Yeah, and I was a little disappointed in Devin Booker because he was passive throughout that game, even though Chris Paul was banged up. I think he needed to step his game up a little more. He was too passive in that game to me. But going back to Davis, for whatever reason, that guy needs to play. He needs to be motivated for the playoffs, and I don't understand why he needs motivation. You got to have fans get on you after a bad game for you to play a good game the next time around. He shot 21 free throws, so he was aggressive. That was the difference in the game. He was attacking the basket. He shot 21, made 18, so that was a big deal.
You know what? I'm in this state right now. We're only in the opening round. We ain't even got to the semifinals yet. We ain't even got
some
to
good playoffs.
Yep. These are great games, except for the Washington game. And then the other game.
And Brooklyn.
And Brooklyn.
Yeah.
It's almost like Brooklyn-Boston series ain't even going on, man.
It's like it's not even going on. It ain't. It really ain't. Tatum got hurt there early in the third quarter, got his eyes, but they were down 25 when he got hurt. So no, that ain't much of a series.
So we'll just go ahead and just say that this series between Lakers and the Suns, it's definitely going 6 or 7 games. So yeah. So Los Angeles, to me, they know how to turn it on when they have to. If I was a Laker fan, I'm not betting on anything because you might lose your money, you might win your money. You take
Anthony Davis will fool around and make you lose your house, boy. I'm scared to bet on him. And then besides that, another reason I give Phoenix, I've said this before, Monty Williams, to me, even though he already has won Coach of the Year from the voting from the other coaches, Monty Williams is a top 5 coach in the NBA. He's not going to let Phoenix, lose by a lot. Even if they might lose the series, even without Chris Paul, they're going to hang in there, man, and be tough. So they're going to be very competitive because he's such a good coach. All
right. So now let's shift and talk about the game. Oh yeah, before we go there, now what happened to LeBron after the game last on the Phoenix? What happened to him on that game?
Well, he went off on Contavious Caldwell-Pope. Is that what you're talking about?
That's the only thing that happened. No incident with the fans.
No, he went off on Caldwell-Pope. It was actually real late in the game with a couple of seconds to go because he had threw him a pass when the game was still in doubt, kind of, sort of. And instead of him shooting it, he threw it over to Schroeder. And Schroeder's not known as a three-point shooter. They got Pope on the team to be the shooter, but the guy's scared to shoot. That's what gets me, man. He's a shooting guard that won't shoot. So LeBron just kind of
this game, man.
Yeah, LeBron's fed up with him. But the thing is, you could tell LeBron's calling the shots because, man, they got a young guy. They got a guy over there named Ben McLemore, who I know you guys both know. McLemore will shoot it. But McLemore, they're not giving him any run in this series. So he's a shooting guard who will shoot. Now, granted, Contavious Caldwell-Pope does play a little better defense. So I guess the Lakers is come down to, do they want points or do they want defense? So there you go.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about Denver and Portland. Of course, that series is tied at 1 game apiece, and the Nuggets came back with a force and was able just to put the Trailblazers. That series, 6 or 7 games too as well. Your comments on games 2 on that, Dre?
No, don't ask me about that series. I can't. Y'all made my blood pressure go up the other night on that series, man. No, that's also a closely matched series as the Knicks and Atlanta Hawks. That's a great series, man, and I don't know who the heck to pick. I think Denver's going to win it, but I know Portland's going to really fight tooth and nail to the end. But the next game is in Portland. The series is tied at 1. And I think the Trailblazers will definitely get a split in Portland. Definitely get a split. After that, I think it becomes a best of 3. We have to see what happens. But, man, I hate to go against Portland. I love Dame Dollar because Damian Lillard can hit a shot from anywhere on the court like Steph Curry can. And I think Denver will probably win it. But I'm going to say it again, and I said this the other day. I think now you really see what Denver misses their point guard, Jamal Murray, who tore his ACL a couple of months ago. Now you see them. They're not quite as deep as they were last year in the playoffs. They've got kind of a different group of guys. And this group, in my opinion, is not as good as the group that was in the bubble back last year.
Yeah, the key numbers to that game that Denver got back on track and got that victory, the 2 numbers that matters the most was Portland turned it over 21 times. And Jokic, Dre's MVP, the Joker, the Joker was 70 shots, 75%. He was 15 or 20. So they had no answer for him. And so they got back on track, I guess, playing their kind of ball. But this is a fun series. But Lillard had 42 points. He had 32 in the first half. They put Aaron Gordon on him in the second half. That seemed to slow him down a little bit. It seemed to work at least for 1 game. So we'll see what happens in the next game. But that is a fun series.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Gordon has that length and that jumping
Yeah.
ability, and I noticed that too. It did bother him, even though I've seen them put big players like that on him before, and teams used to put tall guys on Kobe Bryant. It didn't phase
All
him.
the time. Yeah.
I don't think Lillard's going to be bothered that much if they try to run Aaron Gordon on him all the time. He's going to get his shots because you
Yeah.
know
He
him. He
most
step
definitely.
across the calf court and let it fly. So yeah.
Well, let's see this. The Thursday games will be the NBA TV is going to have the game between Denver and Portland, and that game is now going to be in Portland. The series is tied 1-1. Then on Thursday on TNT, the late game will be the Lakers. They're at home against the Phoenix Suns, and that series is tied at 1 game apiece. And then the first game on Thursday on TNT at 7:30 Eastern will be Milwaukee and Miami. So is Pat Riley going to be able to get this organization ready? I mean, will Spoelstra have these guys ready, or are
Oh
they?
yeah.
I
Oh
don't
yeah.
think. I think Miami will definitely win at home.
Yeah, I do too, man. The Miami Heat, they're going to come to play. And with that crowd and the role players, traditionally in the NBA play better and the backups play better at home. So I think the Tyler Heroes and the Robinsons and some of those guys, I think they're going to be tough. And if nothing else, Miami will start a fight. You know how Riley he got some boys on that team will throw some dukes or trip somebody and get some mess started. So I definitely expect the Heat to get back into the series with the series shifting to Miami.
Yeah, they can't play much worse. And I go back to the star players. Jimmy Butler had 10 points the other night, not 1 3-pointer. And so I'm not sure what's going on with Butler or the star players, but I really expect them really disappointed in the way they played the second game. I really expected them to come out and challenge and win that game. Now, Milwaukee, again, had 22 3-pointers. They had 15 in the first half, and that's why they got out to that huge lead. But, yeah, they can't play much worse, so hopefully they'll at least get a game down there.
All right, we'll definitely see what's going to happen. And then, of course, on Friday, you got the Dallas Mavericks at home against the Los Angeles Clippers. And I just know for the Clippers, they tanked the last few games just to get Dallas. They got them.
Right.
They did, didn't they? Lose to Oklahoma City Thunder and
they did
because they didn't want to face the Lakers.
Yep. Be careful what you ask for, huh? Now they got them. Now,
they
of
should
course,
have been trying to. Yeah, they should have been trying to avoid the Mavericks instead of the Lakers.
Yeah,
apparently that's a bad matchup for them because they have no answer.
Yeah, I mean, we just talked about Miami Heat. Their series is do or die. They don't want to go down 3-0 to the Bucks, but this is definitely do or die for the Clippers. If they go down 3-0 in Dallas, man, it's over. They'll get swept. So that's really a do or die, and I expect Dallas to play well at home. So the Clippers are in real trouble, brothers.
Yeah,
they're in real trouble.
Yeah, because the key difference, Dre, I'm not breaking the news. Miami's going home. The Clippers are going on the road.
Exactly, man. Yeah.
Wow. And last, I forgot to mention the game between Memphis and of course Utah Jazz. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, how you liking that series? Because I think Utah, they're going to step it up and they're going to give a great series. But man, Memphis, man, these Grizzlies, they are awesome.
Memphis is loaded with good young players led by Ja Morant. I expect Memphis to win maybe another game or so. I expect that series to end up 4-2 Utah. As they play now, Utah is leading big already. They'll blow them out in this game, and it'll be tied at 1, and then they'll go to Memphis. And I think Memphis can pull off at least one win at home. So I think if they get 2 or 3 wins, that'll be really good for them in this series.
All right. Hey, listen, it's time to get your barbecue grills out. I don't know if Simon is cooking this weekend.
I am. Yeah, I'm firing up the grill on Sunday, man, for Memorial Day. I'll be out in the backyard firing up the grill. All
right. So you got 30 seconds. Anything you want to say in closing on what to look forward to this weekend?
Well, listen, man, it's been fun. We're talking about the NBA playoffs and how great they've been so far. They're still early, so I'm looking, for this to keep going the way it is in terms of how the playoffs have started. A lot of intensity, a lot of fun. A lot of pushing and shoving. These games that kind of remind me of the old 80s games where you're getting physical on both ends of the court. So I'm excited about the playoffs more so than I've been in a long time, the NBA playoffs. But yeah, I'm really excited about it.
Dre, your 30 seconds, your closing comments.
First of all, I'm excited about Kevin Simon's barbecue. I can't wait to get at that. But I'm also excited about the NBA, man, and these young players. You got so many guys that are under 20, between 25 and 20, and most of these guys are closer to 20, and the future of the NBA is ready. I mean, you got Luka Doncic, Ja Morant, Trae Young in Atlanta, Jason Tatum in Boston, Donovan Mitchell in Utah, Devin Booker, Phoenix, Jamal Murray and the Joker in Denver, Ben Simmons in Philly and Joel Embiid. These guys are so young. The league is going to be healthy because these are young superstars, and there's a lot more where those came from. So I'm excited about the future of the NBA.
I love it. And I can say one thing, the Dallas Mavericks are the most diverse ethnic team out there. They got guys you least expect to be able to do it, but their coach has got them really playing some great ball. Hey, we got to go. Our time is up. Thanks a lot for checking us out. We will look forward to checking you next time. You've been listening to Sports in the Mix with the Crew. He's Dre Russell. I'm Cedric Bailey along with Kevin Simon. Until the next time, peace.